Meghan's bullying is not buried. A royal biographer determined to enlighten himself despite being hidden in the palace. Hello and welcome to the Princess Diana News channel. It's really nice to have a relaxing weekend to look back on things that happened in the past. By the way, thank you all for chatting with me in my videos. Now I want to respond to some of the comments I heard. So first, I really liked this comment from 9516. They said Harry promised they could make it work when in reality, they couldn't. They want different things, different lives, they need to pull the trigger and file for divorce. I think if King Charles completely took away some of their titles, it would force Marcos's hand and hasten the inevitable without his title. Harry is of no use to him. Okay, let me tell you, I love this comment. So thank you very much for making your point very well. You see, I think Harry is running this wedding. I agree with you on this point. I mean, yes, it means using it, but I think Harry really believes in love. I think he really believes he enjoys doing this. She knows she doesn't love him. He never did it. He really is her meal ticket, but I think Harry is trying to resist. I mean, I think it's fair that without the title it's pointless. So if King Charles could just pull the trigger, the matter would finally be over and we could then move on with our lives. Of course, friends. Please let me know in the comments section if you have a different opinion on this. But I think this person is right. The next comment was made by Karen. Then she says they claim the ring is being repaired. I'm sorry, but if you bought an engagement ring the same size and price as us, you will never need to repair it. Of course, normal-sized stones and rings worn by normal working-class people are obviously of better quality. You could have saved a fortune. Let me tell you, this comment touched my heart. Chuck, yes, that's one thing they see. They could easily get normal things, buy normal things for themselves, but no. They believe they must have the best of the best, and in doing so, they end up creating more problems for themselves. I mean, it's really fun to watch. I've also seen several comments from you suggesting that Meghan Markle is playing around with this whole ring thing and that it hasn't really been resolved or missing or something like that, and that's not a sign that they are going through a divorce. Maybe he's just using it for attention. After all, Meghan loves playing these games to keep us guessing and keep her name in people's mouths. Thank you very much for the comments. Please continue to leave them. Anyway, back to today's news. So there is a royal insider who reveals that he sees a lot of confusion within the royal family. He explains. I have a lot of time for biographer Andrew Lowe. I'm a fan of his reading of Traitor King about how Edward VIII was supposedly a Nazi sympathizer. Apparently this biographical difficulty when he was trying to do research for his book on Lord Mountbatten. Now the Cabinet Office will block it completely and lower the levels again. Feeling incredibly frustrated, he works on his next book about Prince Andrew. So this draws a lot of attention to how the palace actually works. People only listen to what we need to know, and that's completely different from everyone else. I want to know. Apparently, despite the Foreign Office making life incredibly difficult for this biographer, they refuse to provide him with information on the disgraced Duke of York for another 40 years, and they do it because, fundamentally, it ensures that Andrew, in the royal family, will not have to answer for any of his misdeeds during his life and during his lowest periods. He filed a Freedom of Information request and was told by the Foreign Office that nothing would be made public before 8:65 p.m. So that means Andrew will just be passing through. He will not face any scrutiny or questions about his friendship with this inmate. Jeffrey Epstein won't even be asked that question until he's at least 105 years old. I mean, come on. And now there are reports that a Guardian newspaper columnist is facing the same kind of crowd. Like Shutdown, he is preparing to write a book about Meghan and her bullying of building staff. And this book comes out after the divorce and talks about the existence of a whole culture of secrecy around royal correspondence. Today our Guardian man is using the same language and saying the company should still be subject to scrutiny. Like everyone else, and I tend to agree with him on this point. As for Meghan, the palace categorically refuses to disclose the investigation into her bullying of royal household staff. It was the Queen who actually approved this order. She was reportedly absolutely horrified when the private law firm presented her with the findings. So it seems that upon seeing the results, the Queen decided that no one, now Her late Majesty, cared, I think, about protecting Meghan. I think she was worried about how the family would cope, because I remember her saying at one point that Meghan was a much-loved member of the family. So if someone like Meghan committed these horrible acts, the monarchy would be irreparably damaged. Now I wonder if members of the royal family today referred to Meghan as a much-loved member of the family. Probably not, and at the time of the bullying investigation, staff explained to how this was the worst form of bullying imaginable. So while the public is frustrated at not having access to the bullying report, I can understand that. It is important that the royal family maintains its position throughout the Commonwealth and around the world. Their privileges, wealth and continuity must be protected at all costs. I understand that this is how the palace works. This is how they have to work, and I don't blame them for never saying what's going on in the royal family's house. But anyway, bullying should have. Which is criminal. Meghan walking around calling herself Duchess. But he said and did so many things that hurt so many people, including members of his own family. Such a person should not be protected. I mean, who knows how many people he still bullies. And as for the bullied people, I wish just one of them could not accept the money to write their own book, full of truths that Meghan, Harry, and the rest of the family might not have told. I don't want to hear anything. I'm sure it would have been a bestseller, unless, of course, it was removed by the super injunction. It seems we are caught in this vicious cycle. Now, I wouldn't turn down a sure thing if I wanted to write a tell-all book about the royal family. I'll tell you that bullied staff should get together with a writer and write their own book. I mean, fuck the NDA, it's getting the truth out there and getting the truth out about Meghan. They may use pseudonyms. They might need a ghostwriter. I think there is a way for them to remain anonymous. Meghan was exposed as a bully, but the horrific acts she committed remained hidden, presumably to protect the victims. But in reality he is just protecting that evil tyrant Meghan. So please release the report and redact the names, to truly protect the victims, not to protect Meghan. See the late Queen. I think he unintentionally gave Meghan his stamp of approval for all to see with that little statement he made. Now the memories are really asserting themselves. Well, it was great. It was his way of calling Meghan and Harry liars, and all the better. The royal family shouldn't be so worried about what it would look like if the truth came out that Harry married scum. Once Meghan showed who she really was, the palace should have exposed her with these reports that she could be deported. If she were to return to the gutter from which she came, never to be heard or seen again, her Dutch title would be taken away and she could be banished forever. On the contrary, it would have been a victory for everyone. Look at Mother. Her and Harry. How long can they continue to pursue the fall of the monarchy? Meghan has already caused a lot of damage to the royal family and the monarchical institution as a whole. I mean, she and Harry have already done damage that can't be denied today. The monarchy just seems a little weak. They really don't seem to know what to do with Meghan and Harry, and the people of the kingdom have been subjected to the degradation. It just seems a little weak. Assault on a beloved historical institution with no end in sight and seemingly defenseless. And I understand the position of the royal family, and I don't think it's the wrong position. The less said the better. Yes, and the English support the royal family. This support is vital for the royal family to survive and succeed in their endeavors. Members of the royal family must recognize their dependence on public loyalty and support in order to keep their relationships with the people intact. We became aware of these great troubles within the royal house. Meghan and Harry are closely linked to the royal family. Harry is the king's son. Transparency would be a great idea in this situation. People are realizing that no one except Harry and Meghan is responsible for her being an absolute witch. The public does not expect perfection, they don't need it. I mean, every family has a black sheep. We understand that what people greatly respect is humility and honesty. People are disrespectful, manipulative and deceitful. Now, once the truth about Meghan and Harry is revealed, I predict many people will breathe a big sigh of relief, the royals. Above all, confession is incredibly good for the soul. Andrew and Harry are two loose cannons. They are dangerous for the monarchy. It seems to me that Andrew feels entitled to do whatever he wants. It also appears to have incredibly low values in certain areas of human behavior. If you see what I mean now, Andrew may have been incredibly loyal and did his duty during his military service. I don't think he's an honorable person. I don't think he has the high principles and behavior we saw in Harry. Well, that indicates similar areas of weakness as Andrew's inability to control impulses. In my opinion, this behavior makes them seem what many others have considered to be flawed in the way they act. Evidence from their own behavior reveals that neither is a fully mature adult man. However, if you ask me, Harry's behavior reveals a personality with a lot more dysfunction than meets the eye, as if Harry actually suffered from a personality disorder. Or maybe a combination of personality disorders and mental illness. It's reporting by journalists and people who actually know Harry. I mean, his connection is that alcoholism and drug use can be a self-soothing, self-medicating strategy to deal with one's internal problems. And if we look closely at Meghan's life story, we see plenty of evidence that is of interest to researchers. I mean, there might be case studies written in the years to come. It appears that Meghan Markle suffers from several personality disorders, and they are incredibly serious. It seems that Meghan truly believes that only her truth, as she calls it, is valid. And to this end, any decision he makes will be justified. He comes across as a person who does not recognize any harm he may have caused through his statements and behavior throughout his life. It seems that Meghan lacks the capacity to feel remorse. There is something seriously wrong between you and her. What do you think of them? Please let me know your thoughts below in the House of Commons. If you prefer our video tonight, please like and share it with your friends and family who can enjoy it whenever you want, and subscribe to our Princess Diana News YouTube channel for more updates in the future. Thank you very much for watching. Good night, and we'll all see each other tomorrow.